Well, good evening, everybody. Good to see everybody joining in. It's great. Beautiful day. On top of a couple of other really beautiful days. So my Siberian irises are going, just starting to pop. It's great. I love those. So please make yourself comfortable. Take a breath. And today we're going to continue on. Last time we did internal and external, inside and outside, the microcosm of the universe and the body, and the non-separation of the form from the boundless. So in spiritual practice, there's sort of this understanding sometimes that there's the historical dimension, there's the natural world, the world that we live in normally with our ego and our separateness, and then there's this also this boundlessness, that there's this spaciousness, this awareness, and that reality unfolds by boundlessness taking form, and form dissolving into boundlessness. And this goes on constantly, sometimes very, very slowly. And with the evolution of planets and solar systems and galaxies and so on. And sometimes very, very quickly, as we sit in meditation, watch our mind, and the thoughts sometimes are relentless, and they come and they linger a moment and they're gone. They just keep coming. So this nature of arising and passing away seems to be one of the roots of reality that we find ourselves in. And the spiritual path is to be able to recognize that we're somewhat trapped in the world of form, the world of space and time, and in our thoughts and our circumstances, and to find liberation from that, and then to return to the world of form with this awakened nature. So it's not an escape; it's more of an expansion of awareness. So today we're going to explore the variety, or I should say, the kind of the spectrum between form and boundlessness. And so I call that density. The easiest way to understand this, I think, is a very ancient teaching, is if we have water. And so water can be ice, solid, hard, formed, or it can be liquid, flowing, and changing and adaptable. Or it can be a gas, it can be steam, it can be invisible in the air. And the fundamental truth of the teaching is that all three of these states, and every state intermediate of them, are made up of the same thing, which is H2O. It's just in different forms. So likewise, we have forms in Qigong, we have postures. So this is a form. And then we have movement. So this is the more like the liquid. And then the steam, the Taoists call the alchemical practice, which is the presence or the being in of this state of expanded awareness. And we actually don't have to let go of any of them. They are all who we are. And we can be them all at once. So let's begin. Take a few deep breaths, if you would, please. At the beginning, we focus on the out-breath a little more, which encourages the dropping down, the release, the relaxation of the shoulders and the hips. The knees are soft, the belly's soft. So this is the out-breath, this is the letting go. Which brings the relaxed body and empty mind. Or at least it expands the space in the mind between the thoughts. So let's go ahead and bow to the practice, bow to the ancestors, to the other practitioners, recognizing that we're not separate back through time and we're not separate from other beings in the present moment. And let's bow to the 7 directions. So turning to the north. And to the east. And to the south. To the west. Back to the front. Well, let's do Trembling Mountain for a couple of minutes. Okay, let's increase the intensity. Okay, and all together. 1, 2, 3, stop. Now, one good simple way to check into tension in the body, to release tension, is to do the shoulder lift. So on the count of 3, we're going to lift up our shoulders and touch our ears. 1, 2, 3. Really, really, really tight. And just notice the quality of your breathing. Notice how the body feels. Notice the mind. Okay, on the count of 3, we'll let go. 1, 2, 3. And now notice the quality of your breathing, sensations in the body, state of the mind. Okay, so let's do this 2 more times. So ready to start by dipping the knees. So up. This is called suffering. Okay, 1, 2, 3. End of suffering. So this is recognizing that there is a lot of pain and suffering in the world, particularly right now. And so this is a way of being one with it and then releasing it in ourselves. As we release it in ourselves, we contribute to, in a small way, to the releasing of the suffering in the world. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so in addition to touching heaven, touching earth, and balancing the vertical, we can also balance the horizontal. So let's start with the right hand. So in breath, point to the center line. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now both. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make it more slowly. Let's do one more. Okay, let's just slowly, let's go into breathing crane. Before we do, touch into standing position 1 or standing mountain. So this would be ice. This is the form, the posture, the solidity. And now we're going to move into water. So in breath, expand. Out breath, we move into air or steam. Solid, moving, expanding, returning. So we are actually, as we move through this, we're in all states at once. So we're standing, we're solid, we're material form, we're moving, and we're breathing, we're expanding outward with the out breath, inward with the in breath, and expressing through the fingers. So we're creating this field of awareness in which we move and stand. In Qigong and in Tai Chi as well, the movement never stops. It's called a string of pearls, a continuous movement. And likewise, the presence of the body, the solidity, the form is always here. And as the breath empties out the body and spaciousness empties out the mind, there's this awareness or this field of energy surrounding the body and connecting with everything else. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Okay, so we're still, and so where's the movement now? The movement and the stillness would be the heart beating and the lungs moving and all the organs and all the systems in the body moving. So all of these states, this ice, water, and steam or air, they all enter R. Because when we're doing Qigong, we're in touch with the Qi, the energy, which is what they are all made of. What the body is made of, what the mind is made of. And perhaps you can feel the tingling, which is just a reminder of the presence of this aliveness, this chi, this energy. Okay, let's go into loosening up the neck and shoulders. I encourage you, if you do sitting meditation, to just as you sit down or before you sit down, to loosen up your muscles up here a little bit. It'll make it easier to sit. All right, and let's do backwash and tree and spring 3 times. Let's do one more. We'll practice tree and spring again, but with a little difference this time. A lot of us in moving on our spiritual paths, we can become very focused on getting there. How do we get there? What do we have to let go of? How do we get rid of this? How do we practice this? How do we focus? How do we do it right? Because we're really invested in doing good, doing it right. And that's fine. There's no problem with that. But it's also possible and easy to just go right into the expanded state. So we'll do this with this movement that you know, tree and spring, very easy. But we're going to add the dimension of awareness to it, the mind. And so what I'm asking you to try is, as you go up, when you reach, go past the head, the space, then open, as you open up, either look up or close your eyes and look up, and bring to mind some image of oneness for you. Okay? So it can be God, it can be the Tao, it can be the Buddha, it can be the universe, it can be a flower, it can be love, it can be compassion, it can be joy. We're gonna intentionally bring that to mind and open to it and merge with it, just like that. Okay? So however that is for you, whatever image or thought or intention that is for you, and they're all fine. It doesn't matter. Okay? So let's start, and we'll hold the position. So tree and spring. So look up, open to what? And let go and merge with it. Okay, the breathing is here, the body is here, everything's here, and you've merged with the oneness or the divine. Okay, and let's continue around. And standing mountain with the presence that you just merged with. You may drop your attention into your body, into your chest or belly or somewhere. Okay? So let's repeat this, and you can do the same again, or you can use a different word or image. Okay? So here we go. We're moving from form, movement, breath, spaciousness, merge, let the hands move around, come fully back into the body. Okay, let's do it again. In breath. It's okay to smile. Okay, and now as we come down, we're lowering our attention down into the body. And this is the expanded self. The stillness of the body, the movement of the breath, the presence of awareness. Okay, now let's go side to side. So starting with the right hand, in breath, out. Okay, let's simplify. So just out and back. Okay, one more each side. Okay, and now both hands. Turn the waist. Okay, let's reduce. And to the front and back. And with your breath, this is turning the waist. And then the arm just goes with it. And one more each side. And then one hand over the middle dantian, the other over the lower. Okay, let's go into the balance, the one-legged postures. So shifting the weight to one side, sinking down. And when you're solid, lifting the unweighted heel. You can leave the toe on the ground, or you can lift up your leg if you want to. Touch it down with no weight, and then shift slowly onto that one. If you're lifting the one leg, the ankle's very soft. Everything is relaxed, it's not flexed. Okay, one more each side. Okay, let's place one hand on the abdomen, the other on the lower back, and tilt the pelvis, rock the pelvis. And then circle the pelvis, circle the hips, viewed from above, making a circle. This involves the thighs and the knees and the legs. And this will help keep your spine and hips flexible. And will also improve your balance. So the teaching here of the Tao is that the body is a microcosm of the universe. So by that, one of the things it means is that the body is not a thing. The body is a process that's constantly changing, moving through time. The body is how we move through space and time. So by its very nature, it's impermanent, constantly impermanent. So it's not a thing. It's a form of energy that's coming and going. And the senses, whether it's feeling, the most basic sense, the sense of touch, it's the most basic sense. That's like ice. That's like the most formed. And then maybe sound, which is a higher vibration that comes to us as sound, would be like water. And maybe eyesight, would be the highest frequency, that sense impressions come through. The higher vibrations of light and color come through the eyes. So all of these are the same, though. They're all vibratory. Okay? And that's the chi. They're all energy. They're also all processed by the mind. So when we come back to the body, when we come back to the breath, we're using this presence of the body and the movement of the breath to touch into the spaciousness. We're not escaping something to go into the body. The body is a manifestation of boundlessness. It's the energy, it's the same energy. So when we drop into a posture, standing mountain or standing one, the body is not separate from our intention to be in it, or from our mind, or from the universe. So paradoxically, dropping into this solidity puts us in direct touch with boundlessness. And this is directly discernible when the body is this tingling going on, and even if just for a few seconds the mind is empty. That's spaciousness. Tingling is how the body presents boundlessness. So let's go ahead and bring up our stool. So if you're using the Lan Fa, traditionally the index finger, that's Yan, that's male. The second finger, that's Yin, that's female. We're putting them together with the thumb. So we're uniting Yin and Yang. That's what this gesture is. And we're uniting left and right. So just by making this gesture, we're letting go of identification with gender. Now, just as we did with tree and spring, let's try with the in-breath, breathing up the energy from the earth up through the perineum into the torso, and even into the brain. And let's breathe it out, shoot it out through the top of the head, the crown of the head. And we can go up infinitely or go up like a fountain and come back down the sides, create a unity. And this is a form of the microcosmic orbit that we did last time. And now, if you'd like to experiment with the awareness part, as you breathe out, as you shoot the breath out the top of the head, then bring to mind again the intention to merge with the divine, however that presents to you, it doesn't matter. And do it. And then it falls down on you and all around you as sort of like this rain. Until there's no separation, in breath or out breath, or there's no separation down and up. It's just this constant cycle, this presence. Awareness is felt in the body as tingling or heat. It's felt in the mind as spaciousness. So notice that you're sitting here, your body is here. That's the solidity. There's movement, the heartbeat, the breath. There's certainly movement of the mind. And then there's this boundlessness. And it all exists at once. Okay, let's take a couple more breaths. So this is all very nice. But now I want to go into what use is it? So we all know that emotions are stored in the body. Emotions are a thought, experience, a body sensation. Emotions are stored in the body. Then they're released through the body. When a memory comes to us unbidden, and it's any kind of memory, can be painful or pleasant, whatever it is, but if it shows up in the present unbidden, it can pull us into it. And then we give up the present and we go into the past. But with awareness, when a memory comes up, body feeling comes up, we stay in awareness and it goes through us, or we breathe into it. And these forms cannot continue to exist in awareness. So the pain that's held in the body is released. So this is the final healing stage of healing trauma in the body, or of just dealing with troublesome or annoying memories. You can do this anytime. And we did a few weeks ago. That was then, this is now. That was then, this is now. So let's go ahead and go back into our meditation. And let's just try this. And so what we'll do is we'll touch into this spacious awareness again. And then once it's fully present, we'll just bring up a memory. It can be any memory. Trivial, important, it doesn't matter. And we'll let the memory dissolve into the awareness, okay? So we'll start with Elan Fa. Breathing in the perineum, breathing into the body. Breathing out the top of the head. Releasing into the divine. Merging re-embodying with the Dharma rain. Do this a few times until this expanded presence is clear. You may experience it as expanding outwards too in all directions. Okay, now let's consciously bring up a memory. It doesn't have to be anything big. Just bring up a memory, see that it's there, and let it go through you or dissolve in the awareness. Just try it, see what works. Then there's a space, and then you can just stay with the space or you can repeat. And if you need to bring in the expanded self again, then go ahead and do that. And let's take a few more breaths. Okay, and come fully back. Okay, so this awareness is the present moment. Okay, and if something comes from our past, from our body, a memory comes up, we have a choice, really. We can go with it, and that's okay if we want to do that. There's nothing wrong with memory. But I'm talking about intrusive memory. It comes up, and if we stay in the present, if we stay in an aware state, that feeling, that tingling, that openness of mind, and we just let it be, it will dissolve. It can't be, a form can't exist in boundlessness. So the memory will just dissolve. It doesn't mean we won't have the memory anymore. It just means we'll remain in the present moment. Okay? We'll remain in the present moment. And we won't have lost that moment to a memory that's come and hijacked us. And you can do it several times throughout the day. You can do it with even a trivial memory or a pleasant memory. If it's just intruding on your awareness and you want to be here, just breathe in and let it dissolve in the awareness. Okay? So it's useful. Okay, let's do the glasses removing movement. Okay, and clap our hands. 1, 2. Make heat. Okay. Comments or questions about any of that? Pets are joining us. Actually, my dog has been with me here the whole time. He was just on the floor, couldn't see him. Okay. Cassandra? Any comments?
That was fantastic. It was quite an experience being able to, well, I really liked all of the examples that you used with the water, solid and fluid and liquid and gas. And then this last experience in meditating, you know, being able to reach up and through and then expand was really wonderful. As well, and also with the memory. Yeah, and I had a real convenient one just a few minutes ago. That I had to run out of the room and come back.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So it worked really well, really fast.
So not too difficult, right?
Not too difficult at all.
That's the thing, is it's
a great thing.
Yeah, you just do it. It's, you know, let go of all these doubts about, is this going to work? Isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It really, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, and there's a felt sense about it, so that really affirms it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it. Yeah. Great. Thanks.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Todd, what's the bird report?
The bird report is that there are a lot of birds out there.
We knew that, Todd.
And they're all busy feeding young at this point, or building nests pretty much.
Anything unusual?
You can hear the baby starlings out begging. They have a very distinctive begging call. And you see a lot of them on the lawns, and the parents coming in and feeding them. And
we have a catbird that lives right outside our window. Yeah, it wakes us up in the morning.
the jazz musician of the bird world.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It has a lot to say, really, and never repeats itself.
Finn and Nan have a very distinctive Baltimore Oriole outside their house, which I can't remember the song to imitate it, but it's a very catchy song.
So this Oriole is singing the song incessantly for about 2 weeks, and after last night, I have not heard a peep from that bird. In fact, I haven't heard a single Oriole today. Just silence. I mean, we're hearing all the other birds, but not hearing any Orioles.
You're so fortunate to have an Oriole. Do you know where the nest is?
No, I think there's actually several around, because sometimes we'll have like 6 at a time in our honey locust, and you know, I put some stuff out for them, and they just come right up to the house and eat and smack their lips and say thank you and leave. And like I said, they but I've seen them today, but I haven't heard them.
Very cool.
Very interesting. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anybody else? Okay.